Hello and welcome to the first episode of Fireside with DXP Report. I wanted the first episode to be introduction to myself, introduction to DXP Report, and this podcast as well, of course. So for me, my name is Kaya. I'm the founder of Wordify and DXP Report, and I've been working in the CMS space as a sort of journalist / commentator since 2012, 2013. I first started working at online publication, talking about the CMS space and sort of publishing sort of mini reviews. That went on for about 3 or 4 years. In 2016, I then transitioned over to cmswire.com, where I was doing more CMS related content, web dev content, customer experience, digital experience, that kind of thing, which is great. And at the same time, in 2016, by that point, I'd started to mingle with a lot of CMS vendors. I was attending events in the space. I was really understanding the space a lot more. And so I thought, okay, let me launch an agency where I can help these CMS vendors with their content, right? And that's what we did. We launched Wordify, and we're a content marketing agency. We help them with any sort of written content. We help with that. And so that allowed me to understand the space even more. And thankfully, since 2016, we've steadily grown. And today we're helping a lot of headless CMS and headless commerce and DXP vendors with their content. So that's basically the story of myself and Wordify. DXP Report launched actually 2020. The years of just, I don't even know what year it is anymore. I think it was 2020, November 2020, we first launched as a newsletter only, right? So just recapping news in the space, recapping headless CMS news, headless commerce news, DXP news in newsletter form. And then November last year, we relaunched, maintaining the newsletter, but now we have a website, right? DXPReport.com. You can go there and find some publications. You can go and find some articles that we're writing, that our partners are writing, and we hope to grow that also. And now we're launching the podcast, sort of arm of the publication, which again, I'm hoping that's going to contribute to the conversation, right? And the whole goal here is to make DXP Report the conversation hub of the space, right? The headless CMS, headless commerce, DXP space. Mainly because I can't really see that happening elsewhere in an organic way. Okay, so I always go back to the Magic Quadrant reports and the Wave reports. These are again super useful tools, but they're not an organic, holistic view of the industry, right? They give you a very surface level view of like the top performing vendors hitting certain criteria. And nothing else, quite frankly, right? But it's my view that the headless CMS space, the headless commerce space, the DXP space is much, much broader and much, much deeper than what those reports would have you believe, right? So we work with a ton of vendors in the space who are doing amazing things, fantastic things, making huge progress. Their products are great. And they're not recognized, quote unquote, recognized by any of these big reports, and it's a shame, right? And it's like, well, why can't they have a bit of a platform to, express their vision, show off their product, and just generally sort of talk on trends that are happening in the space outside of their own blog, right? Outside of their own webinars. Okay, so what we've seen is this sort of echo chamber happening within each CMS vendor where they've got a blog, they've got a webinar platform, and they're just talking, almost to themselves, really, and saying very similar things. And again, on their blog, saying very similar things to each other, because guess what? They've got to rank, right? They've got to rank for headless CMS. They've got to rank for headless commerce. They've got to rank for Jamstack, right? Via their blog, via their landing pages. And the way to do that is to write content about it. And it ends up being that many of these vendors sound a lot like each other, right? That's one thing that Wordify, my agency, has been working for years to ensure is not happening, and making sure that vendors are having their own voice, their own vision, their own spin on things, even though we're talking about very similar topics. That's like a core driver for us and a core issue for us, right? But we can only work with so many vendors, and what you do see is sort of industry wide a lot of similar messaging happening, because again, they've got to rank for these things, right? So where do vendors go? Where do agencies go to talk about their vision, their product, their roadmap in a way that's not, revolving around keywords and just living on their blog, right? And hoping to get to page one. There needs to be a conversational hub, right? And that's what I'm hoping this podcast will be. That's what I'm hoping DXP Report will be. And yeah, that's basically the mission of this podcast, right? To be a conversation hub for the space so that vendors can come in, agency partners can come in, Ambassadors can come in and discuss trends, discuss their products. I just try to sort of, again, shed light on the broader industry rather than just that sort of top layer that those reports give you. If you haven't noticed, this podcast is not scripted. I'm just talking to you. And I want that vibe to remain consistently throughout our episodes, our future episodes, right? So we will give our guests some pointers and some brief questions that we may or may not ask in an episode. But generally speaking, we want to keep things unscripted. We want to keep things organic, and I think that's the best way to stop this becoming just a convoluted sales pitch for everybody that comes on, right? And we make it clear to everybody that's not what this podcast is about. We're not looking to hear your sales pitch. We're looking to hear actual insights. We're looking to hear actual stories, that kind of thing. And also we're looking just to sort of hear and see the faces that are working inside these vendors, inside these agencies, just to see what they're like, because a lot of the time an enterprise or an ambitious startup who is looking for a CMS or a headless commerce platform, they're going to be working with these humans, right? These faces. They'll see these faces on their Zoom calls. So maybe that's a great way to again, sort of differentiate products in the market. Okay, cool. I really like the VP of marketing of this particular vendor who I saw an interview with. That may even tip things in their favor, right? Just by being having a really cool, authentic, casual chat with me, hopefully. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the mission of the podcast. I wanted to sort of get that out there as our first episode. I'm super excited. We've already got episodes recorded, so you'll hopefully see a nice steady stream of content coming your way. And if you're interested in jumping on the podcast call with me, again, super casual, not much, if at all, preparation needed, then head over to dxpreport.com. Make sure you subscribe, of course, and then shoot us a message, and we'll make it happen. I think the more the merrier. As many conversations as I can have, I want to have them. And there's new things happening all the time. Again, composable DXPs, headless commerce, Jamstack, Mac. We want to cover all these things. We want to sort of unpack them all and understand what each vendor thinks, where each vendor lies, which category products sort of fall under, which categories they don't. What that means also for the customer at the end of the day, and the agencies out there sort of trying to sort of navigate their way through, like many customers are also. So that's basically it. I'm not going to make this any longer than it has to be. I think short and sweet for this one. This first episode is a good way to go. And basically that's it. So stick around. We'll be publishing more content soon. Please hit that subscribe button. This will primarily be a YouTube podcast, but will also be available on your favorite podcasting platform. So wherever you are right now, wherever you're listening to this from, please hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below if you've got ideas on how we can make this an even better podcast, or if you just to show your support, that'd be fantastic for us. And of course, make sure you head over to dxpreport.com and subscribe, because we send out a weekly newsletter every Monday with all the headlines, all the news, all the gossip from around social media. Also, anything that's happening around headless CMS, headless commerce, DXPs. We've got our finger on the pulse there, and we're sending it out every Monday. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for listening, and see you again soon.